I'm Rabbi Marcia Plum from Congregation Mishkan Tefillah, and I am honored and terribly sad to be here today to escort Amy Tichnor to her final resting place of peace. Like you, I feel that there is something unreal about the fact that we are here at this graveside for Amy. I often told her how impressed I was with her resiliency and perseverance. I used to tell her over and over again how strong she was. I'm incredibly sad that her inner strength and determination to live could not prevail over the aggressiveness of her cancer. When we are overwhelmed, confused, or lost, we reach out for God's constant love. And we begin this service with Psalm 16, Shiviti. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. I have set God always before me. Ki mimini bal emot. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. Ki mimini bal emot. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. Ki mimini bal emot. Adonai ma Adam v'teda'ehu ben enosh v'tachashvehu Adam lahevel dama yamav ketzel over. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are like a passing shadow. We come and go like grass, which in the morning shoots up renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. You cause us to turn to dust, saying, "Return, O mortal creatures." Would that we were wise and we understood the way of life and death. Would that we were wise, that we understood where we're going from this life. For when we die, we carry nothing our way. Our glory does not accompany us, but mark the wholehearted and behold the upright. They shall have peace. And when I think of Amy, I can't think of a more wholehearted person, a person who did everything and cared for everyone with her whole heart. She is at peace. We continue with Psalm 121. Esa Enai, I lift up my eyes to the mountains. What is my source of help? And I chose this one because Amy loved prayer. She turned to God. She turned to her community. She turned to her Judaism to bring her comfort and strength. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from God, maker of heaven and earth. Esa enai el harim me'ayin yavo Ezri me'im Adonai Osei shamayim va'aretz Al yiten lamot raglecha Al yanum shomerecha Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomerecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha, yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, veyareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha, mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha, me'ata ve'ad olam. Oh God, you have been our refuge in every generation. Before the mountains came into being, before you brought forth the earth and the world, from eternity to eternity, you are God. You return us to dust. You decree, return, you mortals. For in your sight 1,000 years are as yesterday when it is past, or as a watch in the night. You engulf us in sleep. We are like grass that renews itself. At daybreak it flourishes anew. At dusk it withers and dries up. The span of our years is 80 years and 10, or given strength 80 years. Or in the tragic case for Amy, less than that. But those days pass by speedily, and we are often in darkness. Teach us, therefore, to number our days, to make every day count, so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Turn to us, O God, show mercy to your servants. Satisfy us at daybreak with your steadfast love, that we may sing for joy all our days, even in times of grief. Let your deeds be seen by your servants, your glory by their children. May your favor, O God, be upon us. Establish the work of our hands, and help our deeds of the heart, so that they may long endure. We continue with one of Amy's favorite prayers that is a beloved long-time prayer from long-time song from Mishkan Tefillah. And the words are Lador Vador, from generation to generation. And Amy was besotted with the next generation from her siblings. May her memory and her kindness and generosity continue to inspire the next generation. Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Nagid God Lecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Kedushatcha Nagdish, Vashivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush leolam vaed, ki el melech gadol, ki el melech gadol, kadosh ata. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nogid god lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nagdish. I'd like to now invite the family to come and speak. I'd like to invite Michael first. Her beloved older brother.
This is not easy. My sister Amy's life was taken from her far too early and in the cruelest of ways. She had to deal with so many health issues over the past few years, but no one expected this to happen. No one expected her to be diagnosed with terminal cancer and then to have her life taken from her just a few days later. Amy was a fighter, but she never had a chance with this. She did not see this coming. Nobody did. To paraphrase the poet John Donne, death do not be proud for taking Amy. As her family, we have so many emotions, from shock at the suddenness of it all, to our grief, sadness, and the emptiness we all feel today as we try to make sense of our loss. But what is important now, at this time and going forward, is that we celebrate her life, who she was, and how we will remember her beautiful spirit, not how or why we lost her. Amy always had, from the time she was a young girl until her last days, a remarkable and sensitive spirit and soul, a spirit filled with unconditional love and enthusiasm for life. She was full of genuine kindness. It was her calling card, and she developed this spirit as she encountered many challenges during her life, challenges she continued to overcome and was always able to put in the rearview mirror. In many ways, Amy taught us so many life lessons, how to adjust to obstacles and adversity, and how to do so with grace and never a complaint. She gave new meaning to the definition of perseverance, and her passing reminds us not to take anything or anyone for granted. Most of all, Amy's life and her passing has taught us the importance of living a life of kindness, that kindness should be a guidepost for us throughout our own lives. More than anything, Amy loved her family. She lived for her siblings, her 12 nieces and nephews, and her 21 great nieces and nephews, and we all loved her back. She took such pride in being an aunt. How she loved our big family holiday gatherings, and how we all looked forward to Aunt Amy's applesauce and horseradish. It was amazing that she never forgot a birthday or special occasion. She never skipped a milestone, big or small, and she was always ready to celebrate each of them. And celebrate she did. In fact, she was always the ringleader for taking family vodka shots at weddings and bar mitzvahs. Sometimes too many vodka shots. And of course, she was beyond excited when she learned about the arrival of a newborn member of the family, the most recent being baby Maxine, or an upcoming wedding. During one of my last conversations with her, when she could barely speak, she still remembered Alan's upcoming bar mitzvah next week, Sam and Brooke's wedding, and the future arrival of Ariel and Nick's twins. She so much wanted to be there for all of it. Speaking of love and family, more than anything, she loved our mom and dad. Amy's devotion to our mom or dad was extraordinary, a driving force and constant theme of her life. They gave her such amazing love and support through the years, and she gave that love back unconditionally. After our dad passed away, Amy's devotion and attention to our mom increased, if that was even possible, and she always referred to our mom as her best friend. True, pure devotion. Frankly, I could give an entire eulogy about it. And then there was her second family, Congregation Mishkan Tefillah. She simply loved being part of Mishkan Tefillah. She was a lifelong member who attended services regularly for decades, and participated in a variety of programs, most recently Musar. But most of all, she enjoyed the camaraderie, the comfort, and support that her synagogue family gave her. There is no question that the affection was mutual. It would be an understatement to say that Amy enjoyed connecting with and surrounding herself with people. In her own way, and throughout her entire life, she touched more people than we could ever imagine. We have seen that with the overwhelming response to her passing over the past few days. She had an infectious enthusiasm, not only with people whom she knew well, but with strangers and acquaintances. Even when she was undergoing treatments or in the hospital, her infectious enthusiasm rubbed off on her nurses and doctors, always making them smile and laugh while she was the patient. Over the years, she loved working with the older generation through her jobs at various nursing homes, including Hebrew Senior Life, and some of her closest friends were always much older than her, which reflected her compassion for people. Although her life was taken from her too soon, Amy lived a full life. She always enjoyed traveling, whether it be to China, Israel, Alaska, the Caribbean, or her annual cruises, especially her Mahjong cruises. She also had a special love for Sanibel Island, and every year looked forward to celebrating her birthday at the Mucky Duck on January 29th. Sanibel was her special paradise. Amy was also passionate about the Red Sox, whom she always referred to as her boys. She was a quintessential diehard fan. Even when I would try to convince her at times that the Sox really stunk and were not worth watching, she never, ever gave up on them, including this past year. And no one enjoyed their championships more than Amy. And believe it or not, she even occasionally celebrated the Sox at the Cask and Flagon. Yes, as recently as 2 years ago. I could go on and on talking about Amy's passion for Mahjong and Canasta, her summers growing up at Camp Pembroke, La Salle College, Northeastern University, her love of frogs, the color purple, the Bo Winneker Band. Again, the list could go on and on, as we will hear today and tonight. So Amy, we already miss you terribly and mourn your loss. It's hard to believe you won't be at the next family dinner or celebration. It just won't be the same without you. There will be an emptiness without your presence. But know that you will always have a special place in all of our hearts, and your memory will be forever part of our lives. You are now in a better place, in the arms of angels, and we love you. Or as you would say to us at the end of every conversation, love ya.
On most of Amy's birthdays, when she wasn't in Sanibel, we would try to have some meal with her. And on her 40th birthday, the girls took her out for, I think, lunch. And I wrote a poem for her, for the girls to celebrate. On the 29th of January in the year 55, to 11 Hagen Road, the stork took a dive. The delivery he made, Marge and Al's pink bundle of joy, from Michael and Susan, an Amy Roberta toy. A delightful little toddler, the sweetest little girl. Your bangs were so straight, not even a curl. Evelyn's little Peachy, a feisty little tot. At 3 you got a roommate. Nancy took that spot. Traveling with Amy wasn't always such a treat. Almost there, she repeated, only halfway down the street. You certainly mellowed later, traveling far and near to Club Med, Israel, and cruising. Your tales we love to hear. Your volleyball games got started at good old Pembroke Camp. It got your muscles stronger for pushing wheelchairs up the ramp. From Newton South to LaSalle, then on to Northeastern Zoo, preparing you for a world of recreation and reading Danielle Steele too. Your tickling of the ivories is always music to our ears. It certainly beats the snoring in the yellow room through the years. Mom and Dad's personal dishwasher, you learned to clean so well. You maintain a spotless condo, and your apple crisp is swell. Sleeping at Aunt Amy's is always a special thrill. There's such a joy in the kids' voices when you're coming up the hill. So hats off to a wonderful friend and sister. May happiness always come your way. Have at least another 40 years with much joy in every day. We love you always.
Beautifully written, Susan. Beautiful. Nancy? Do you want me to stay here with you?
Well, I think I'm okay. I think. There is so much that I want to say about and to my dear sister Amy, who has always been a constant and protective and loving sister to me. She was always there in the good times, the bad times, and all the times in between. She was always looking out for me, whether it was saving seats for me at Temple, ordering me my yearly Mahjong card, or even picking something up at the butchery for me when she was there. I think it made her feel important to be of help to me. But today I really want to focus on Amy's love for each and every one of her 12 nieces and nephews and their spouses, Zach and her 21 great nieces and nephews. It was truly special for her to have such a large family. Even though Amy did not have her own children, she was able to dote on all of her nieces and nephews as if they were her own. She took so much pride in them. She was always the first to buy a baby gift, always a standard, personalized hand-painted hamper. I don't think she ever missed sending a birthday gift or graduation gift. Between birthdays, graduations, Valentine's Day, Hanukkah, and anniversaries, Aunt Amy certainly kept Hallmark in business. Amy loved going to all the kids' birthday parties and graduations. She went to so many Little League games and dance recitals, always, of course, with a candy bouquet or a treat from Indulge. Amy always wanted to be there to help out. My kids saw her the most as they were in the same community, and she was truly part of their daily lives. I thank my children and all my nieces and nephews for showing and giving her so much love. It meant so much to her. Just 2 weeks ago, she met baby Howie for the first time, and Abby, that was a true gift. Amy was so proud and excited for each and every one of your accomplishments. I know she was looking forward to Alan's bar mitzvah and Sam and Brooke's upcoming wedding. Amy's enthusiastic presence will be missed in future celebrations. To all of her nieces and nephews, being your aunt gave Amy so much pride and joy. Amy, you are with Dad now, but please know that we will take care of Mom. I will miss you and always love you. I know that you will be watching over me, always.
And now to represent the nieces and nephews and great nieces and great nephews, I invite Abby Alford to come and speak.
Aunt Amy, it seems unfathomable for our family to be gathered all together and you not be physically with us. Throughout our lives, you've been a constant. You were a special, one-of-a-kind aunt who I think we all know lived for your nieces and nephews. It was strange to arrive here today, all of us together, and you not be the first one we see standing to greet us with your big, fantastic smile and a fist bump or a cheek kiss. Your commitment to traditions, given your commitment to traditions, it's hard to comprehend the void we'll all feel without you here. There will be the small things, like the food. Who will make our horseradish, and will it ever taste as good? Who will make the applesauce and your perfectly crumbled apple crisp for family holidays? And the quirky things, like your text messages minutes after hanging up from a phone call or leaving a visit with you. or the stream of consciousness texts you sent, inquiring about crackpots, telling us about your friends as if we know them, or details from your day. Or your commitment to buying hampers just minutes after your grandnieces and nephews were born and refusing to accept that we might not have a particular theme for their bedroom. But of course, it's the biggest things we'll miss the most. We'll miss your constant presence and dedication to each of us, which you showed through attending our dance recitals, plays, and competitions as children, and through always remembering everyone's birthdays and anniversaries, and through your regular check-ins with us. We'll miss your generosity, like your offers to pay for us to come home when we lived in distant cities, or to travel to Sanibel with you, and giving us and our children gifts, and taking us to baseball games, and babysitting our children so we can have time with our spouses. There was so much wonderful in you, Aunt Amy. And I don't know that we always did a good job making sure you knew we saw it, but we did. We saw how devoted you were to the communities you were a part of, be it Michigan Tefillah, Camp Pembroke, Rosemary Way, or the people with whom you played mahjong. We saw how these communities filled you up, brought so much meaning to your life, and how you, in turn, brought joy and kindness and compassion to so many within them. And we noticed with amazement how you made friends wherever you went. It seemed like everyone you met was suddenly your friend, whether they knew it or not. You made friends in Sanibel and on cruises, and with the folks who worked at Chico's and Sudbury Farms and the Verizon store. But you also held on to your friends from all parts of your life. There will be many, many people missing your fist bumps now. And we noticed how courageous you were. Something we've long admired about you, Aunt Amy, is that despite your tactics sometimes seeming strange or even borderline inappropriate, you always found ways to get your needs met. You had to find ways to be independent and figure out solutions to problems that didn't come easy to you, or find whoever could help. But most importantly, Aunt Amy, we noticed how seriously you took your role as our aunt and how very much you loved each of us. As kids, we noticed you were the fun aunt who let us eat ice cream for dinner and taught some to eat whipped cream right from the bottle. And as adults, we noticed how genuinely you cared about each of our pursuits and how happy you were for each of us as we accomplished new things and entered new stages of life. We felt your love constantly, even when we were in the darkest of times, as you reached out to us with relentless persistence. We noticed, Aunt Amy, that you were always so reliably there for everything and that you found fulfillment in all of us. In many ways, I wish life had gone differently for you, Aunt Amy, but I will forever be grateful that you were born to two parents who loved you so fiercely and created and provided a safe, loving life for you. And that you had 3 siblings and their partners who've continued to make sure you were surrounded by love and well cared for once Granny and Papa couldn't do it themselves. Though you didn't have children of your own, Aunt Amy, your legacy lives on in your 13 nieces and nephews and in our children now. We will forever think of you as we watch your boys play baseball. We'll think of you when we collect magnets on our travels. We'll party hardy and we'll always be safe, and we'll take shots in your honor as we celebrate each other's lives. You will be with us when we visit Sanibel and take walks on the beach. But most importantly, we'll carry on your legacy in the ways we continue to come together and love each other. So toodles, Aunt Amy, we will always love ya.
I love the toodles. So I know that some of you who are watching, the sound may be going in and out, and it may be a little bit hard for you to hear everything, but I want you to know that your presence here with this family is so appreciated and so valuable. And I hope that you can feel a part of this, that you are standing here today as well to support this family and to give honor to Amy's life. This week's parashah seems to reflect parts of Amy's life, Vayeshev. In it, we read about Jacob's family, a large family similar to the Tichnor family. Like yours, in the parashah this week, this is a family full of nieces and nephews, and also a beloved sister, Rachel, dies in this week's parashah. Jacob, one of the siblings, spends some of the time in the parashah alone, similar to Amy, who also lived alone. During Jacob's aloneness, he wrestled with an angel. Amy wrestled with her own demons, in particular those within her own body, over the last few years. But like Jacob, who was ultimately blessed by his angel, Amy was also blessed with angels in her life. People who loved her and cared for her, dedicated, devoted friends from all walks of her life, her Mishkan Tefillah family. But most of all, she was blessed with the angels of her mother and her father, her siblings, and her nieces and nephews. In some ways, Amy was a bit childlike, but when it came to caring about others, she was profoundly mature and deeply sensitive. She was very sensitive in general, which made life sometimes hard for her, but it also made her sensitive and caring to others. As Nancy said, Amy understood loneliness, and she reached out to others who felt lonely or lost. I have heard many stories over the last few days about Amy's care for others. I heard about a new canasta player who felt left out of the game because she was still learning, and Amy expressly, intentionally included her, worked with her, and encouraged her until she felt comfortable. She said, "No one reached out to me like Amy did." An older woman moved into Amy's building, knowing no one. Amy befriended her, and they became fast friends and looked after each other. Amy became good friends with the owners of the New England Soup Factory in Newton, not because she was a good customer and liked their soup, but because she made it clear to the owners that she liked them. She always asked about their children and their successes. I know the stories of the families of the soup kitchen, the soup factory people, because she loved sharing that family with her in her life. She made friends with them, and they went the extra mile for her. She never cared about people's background, skin color, or education. She just saw our souls. She spoke from the heart and fist bumped everyone she met. Every time we spoke or texted, she always ended with a word of love or support and a thank you. And she always asked about my children, no matter what the conversation before had been about. She always showed concern and care. Her love and care for her family knew no bounds. Her mother, Margie, was her best friend and mainstay. But when Margie moved to assisted living at Newbridge and Amy became ill with the cancer, even though she so wanted and needed her mom's support, she did not seek it out. She did not share her troubles with her mother, and because she didn't want to worry her mother, she put her mother's needs above her own. As has been said, she was a constant, persistent, connected presence in the lives of her nieces and nephews. Some people who don't have children can be bitter and resentful of others who do, but not Amy. She took enormous pleasure in her siblings' children and kept every birthday and celebrated every success. She was so looking forward to getting to know Maxine, Hannah and Adam's new baby. As has been said, she was passionate about a few things that we will all recognize: her family, her canasta, her mahjong, her Red Sox. And she was passionate about joy and living life to the full. She loved to laugh and tried hard to find the good, even when it was sometimes hidden from sight. She was also a passionate member of Congregation Mishkan Tefillah. She came regularly to shul, and during this pandemic, she always came to shul sitting in front of the Fenway Field virtual background. It always made everybody smile when they saw her on the screen. She was a beloved regular at tea with the team and the Musar class. Even when she wasn't feeling well, she would bop along and clap with the uplifting music at the services. She was incredibly endearing and generous. Last year, she came especially to Brookline to give me my yearly bottle of horseradish sauce for Pesach. Amy, your life teaches us to ask ourselves, how will we be an angel for another? How will we express that extra kind word, that extra effort to learn someone's story? How will we show that we value another? Through our memories, Amy can continue to teach us to reach out when we need help, to put aside prejudice or assumptions and only see the soul of another, and reach out to offer help to those in need. Amy spent a lot of time and effort trying to heal and shield her body from the demon of cancer. But she still made time to check in with others in need and offer a kind word. I wonder if today we can promise Amy that we will learn from her example and try to be an angel for others. I'm grateful for all you taught me, Amy, for your laughter, for your care, for your reaching out, for your consistent presence, for that wonderful smile. We will be an angel in your honor. I invite you to join me in the pamphlet that you have with Psalm. Oh, you didn't get. They just need the pamphlets for Kaddish. Some of you have them. Who else needs the pamphlet? Everybody else has? You okay? And if you are able to join us with Psalm 23, I invite us to read together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. O God of life, amid the ceaseless tides of change which sweep away the generations, your love remains to comfort us and to give us hope. Around us are life and death, decay and renewal, the flowing rhythm that all things obey. Our life is a dance to a song we cannot hear. Its melody courses through us for a little while, then seems to cease. What happens to the melody, and where does it go? In darkness as in light, we turn to you, the source of life, and the answer to all its mysteries. I invite you, if you're able to, at home, to rise as we recite the El Male Rachamim. El Male Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Utuhorim, Kazohar Harakia Masirim, Et Nishmat Malka Rachel Bat Aaron Yankel V'Mini from Minafruma, Shahalcha La'olama, Baal Harachamim Yastireha Beseter Kanafav La'olamim, Vayitzror Bitzror HaChayim Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachalata, V'tanuach Bashalom Al Mishkava, V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Malka Rachel Bat Aaron Yankel V'Mineh Fruma, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. You are her inheritance. Give her peace. Keep her soul in peace. And we all say, Amen. Help us feel your presence, O God, in this time of trouble. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mivarach. God gave a special soul to this world, and God has taken this sister, this daughter, this beloved aunt, this beloved friend away. Blessed be the name of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar etchem b'tzalmo v'zan kilkel etchem b'tuvo v'hamet etchem badin v'nata b'tochenu chayei olam. Baruch atah Adonai dayan ha'emet. We praise you, O God, who causes all of us to die and who implants immortal life within us. Atah gibor leolam Adonai rav lehoshia mechalkel chayim b'chesed Mechayeh hakol barachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofei cholim umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, mi chamocha bal gvurot, umi domelach, melech meimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua, Baruch atah Adonai notea b'tochenu, chayei olam. We praise you, O God, Judge of truth, who helps us keep faith with those who sleep in the dust, and who allows the soul to live on in our hearts. Al Mekoma Tavo V'Shalom. May Malka Rachel Bat Aaron Yankel V'Mineh Fruma, may Amy Tichnor come to her eternal home in peace. I'd like to now share a poem that Karen Tichnor wrote for this moment. Death, we hear your faint footsteps on the sidewalk. You're getting closer, and we have a little time to think about how we will greet you. We will wait for you to ring the bell, to make some sort of sound, and we will wait for you to breeze in, to chill us to the bone. Just give us one more minute to say goodbye before you let yourself in. You don't need us to open the door. You have the key. You know what to do. You know where you are taking her. Give us one more minute, because we don't know how to say goodbye. When we don't have the words to say goodbye, Judaism gives them to us through the Kaddish. Today is the first day we say Kaddish for Amy. And we'll be saying Kaddish for her for the next month, for the next year, and for the rest of our lives. The Kaddish is a prayer that is our memorial prayer. But the words are all about embracing life. The words are about finding the joy in life and striving for a full life. So in Amy's memory and in honor of her fullness of heart and her striving to live a life of joy, we say Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, Ta'amiram b'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Shiva prayers will be this evening from 6:30 till 8, and Monday evening from 6:30 until 8 via Zoom. I now invite the family to come and do the traditional, perhaps one of the hardest rituals we have. And it's also seen as one of the greatest mitzvahs, and that is physically burying our beloved dead. It is considered one of the greatest because we don't get any thanks for it. No one says, well done. No one says thank you for your effort. It's our gift. It's our obligation. It's our honor to help send Amy on her way with peace and love by the members of her family that she cherished so much. Sanibel? The sand.
Israel.
It's from Israel. Well, Sanibel was her promised land, so
We all brought shells for that.